Reunion. Hello, y'all. I was selling crack on a private jet up in the hell and back. But no confusion, this a reunion. Hello, y'all. Welcome back. Get murder here. He counting money. He said, "Can man, the hell with rap. I'm only here to shit on niggas and piss on bitches. Welcome ass. I bought jewelry and bikes, nigga. Black Benzes and white Vickers. Now I'm out here and I'm looking for more chandeliers and light fixtures. Nah, I don't like niggas. What's wrong with me? I'm a hype nigga, but this 44 turn to Michael Jordan. I look and say, take flight.
Welcome back to It Is What It Is. This episode is sponsored by Underdog. The app is an easy way to make some cash just by making picks on your favorite players. Underdog is available in more than 30 states, including California, Texas, and Missouri, just to name a few. Make sure to support the show by hitting the link in the bio and downloading the Underdog app. Use code MACECAM or STAT to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits with your first deposit and a free pick. I'm Treasure Wilson, aka Stat Baby, along with your hosts Mace and Cam.
Murder, what up, baby?
Good, man. What's going on with you?
Shit, I'm on my Sean Poe shit today, man. That's why I wore the fitted, man. Shout out to Poe. Poe was wearing them suits. Do you know Sean?
No.
Oh, my God.
Let's go, man. Shit gonna be crazy tomorrow for this, too. Sean was wearing the fitteds to court. And I was watching the Sean documentary. Sean was wearing his fitteds. I like that documentary, man. It's a good documentary, man. Come on,
What was his reason for wearing the hat?
He didn't have a reason behind wearing the hat. He just going to court every day. I mean, you can't wear your hat in court, but every day he was going to court for his case, he was wearing a different fit. I thought, like, that's fashionable. Pretty fashionable, especially in that era. Where the name Poe come from? I knew he was Sean. How he become Sean Poe, man?
God bless HUD gave him that name. HUD gassed him up.
Hold on, man. Hold on. We got to explain this real quick. Because he was Sean, then all of a sudden he became Sean Poe.
Yeah, he started hanging out with us, and then...
Wait, hold on. You got to explain this correctly. You can't rush through this. Hold on. HUD gave the name Sean Poe
on everything.
What happened? How did that happen? How did this happen? Because when he signed the Bad Boy, because remember, he was trying to come to entertainment, then he ended up going to Bad Boy.
Yeah.
And his name was Sean.
Yeah.
Then throughout time, a few months, or maybe a year in, he became Sean Poe.
Yeah.
So now you're about to tell the people how did he become Sean Poe?
Well, the first time I heard him called Sean Poe was by HUD. HUD started calling him that. HUD started telling him, yo.
So hold on, Murray, because we know what's going on. So all these are. HUD is like our brother. He passed away. We miss him very much. We love him. But he was also in the group Harlem World that Mase had signed him to. And he's one of our friends. And so for people that don't know Huddy Combs, Huddy Six, etc., this is what he's talking about. So he's saying that HUD.
Yeah, HUD took him
just so people know who HUD is.
HUD took him up to Harlem. He started hanging out with HUD. HUD running him through the city. You know, HUD finessing him.
HUD, now, that's another thing, audience. HUD is top tier finesse. I'm talking about, he might be top 3, 4 finesses I ever seen in my life, my nigga, ever. But go ahead.
So I remember Sean got in a little incident in Miami. You know, he getting off the elevator. He got some blood on his shirt or whatever. So HUD's like, yo, Sean Poe, come on, we going upstairs.
Sean Poe. Just randomly? Oh, that's the first time you heard it.
That's the first time I heard it. So I said, yo, you calling this nigga Poe? He said, yo, Mase, calm down. Let me handle this.
But he did on your ticket. He did with me. Yeah.
I introduced him to Sean, and now him and Sean is like this. They going shopping. They all uptown. I said, yo, HUD, how you get the range? Poe let me drive it.
Poe let me drive it.
He threw the battery.
But okay, you explain this how you understand it, but I'm trying to figure out why you think he threw the Poe on Sean.
It was to get him to spend more.
Oh, yeah. Spend more on him.
Told him all the stories.
All the Harlem stories.
Yeah.
And now he Poe.
Yeah, that's why he started wearing the Woolrich.
Yeah,
You remember he had the
what?
low cut, he started wearing it.
So you saying Hud told him to start wearing the Woolrich?
Before that he was trying to be like, he wasn't trying to, I ain't gonna say that.
Yeah, I know you ain't. You're not trying to start no try. I get what you said.
Before he was on the Biggie trajectory.
Got you.
When he got with Hud, he started being Poe.
Yeah, it was a different image. The image changed.
The image changed.
Got you. I don't want to rush, and I know we gotta get to the show, but this reminds me of something else you told me about. So I don't think the audience is really understanding. Hud is like our nigga, but with this nigga's finesse. First of all, Hud can't rap. When Mase was putting Harlem World together, he said, who could sell it? And we was like, Hud could sell it. If somebody write the rap for him, he gonna go talk good. He could definitely sell it.
Oh, man.
When he gets with Mase, now mind you, Mase is the #1 rapper in the world at this time, so Mase doing songs with everybody. And Mase told me a story how Hud curved Mase for Brian McKnight or some shit. He started hanging out with Brian McKnight. I'm like, how the fuck he get the Brian McKnight from Poe? How did that happen? And then we'll go for, I know we gotta go, but.
I mean, Hud was sure with everybody, man. One time we was in, I think that was Atlanta, and then Hud was with AI. I'm like, yo, how did you meet AI? Like AI, we would be pulling up to the hotel. And then I tell Hud, stay in the car, yo. Hud, stay in the car. I go upstairs. And then I come downstairs, Hud with AI. They about to go shopping. But everybody he ended up with, he got him to spend cash.
Yeah.
That was Hud.
You know, fam, Hud was such a people person. He's one of the people who's hard to get mad at. Even when you mad at him, it's hard. Niggas say I took him shopping. Hud robbed me for about $6,000 one night. And I wasn't even mad. I sent a nigga to the bank for like $30,000. I said, yo, pick up $30,000. I said, meet me in Miami. So I had them, I don't even remember how it happened. Might not have been a bank. I can't remember. Whatever it is, I remember the number was $30,000, but I ain't been in my house. Long story, he picked $30,000. I said, meet me in Miami. 25, 30 minutes after I said this, I said, wait a minute, that is not the nigga to send to go get the money. I call him back. I got it, Gil. He couldn't call me Gil. I got the money, Gil. I'll be down there tonight. I said, all right. I'm like this, tapping my fingers like, I know this ain't gonna go right. So he comes straight from the airport to the club, like his bag on the, we put the shit in the back of the club. So I don't want to be crabbing in the club, even though it's my money. So we chilling. I see Hud ordering bottles. You know, bottles in the club, 600, 700, 800. Cristal, Moet. See, I smack a bitch on the ass with 100. I said, I know. I know. This ain't my money he doing this with. We get to the crib. After the club, I'm like, yo, Hud, where that money at? He say, Gil, come on now. You know I got to get, I want my money. Nah, that's time to play. He go in the bag, grab the money, and throw it all in the air. Money just flying everywhere. I had the crib down. He just flying all over the house. 30,000 and like 50s and 100s. I'm like, now I got bitches, whatever, and all of us, me included, picking the money up, counting it. Shit like 24-6. I said, Hud.
You gonna trust them
I said, Hud, bro, it's not 30 in here, bro. I can see if he spent 500, 600. Yo, bro. He said, Gil, that money in there, man. You better start looking under them couches. He was buying that stove or something. I said, all right, Hud. I ain't even going. That nigga, then in the morning, I wasn't even mad at the nigga. I put myself in that position, pause.
Yeah.
Oh, that was hard.
Wow, nigga. Sorry, Stack.
No, all good. Definitely got to bring back Ask Mase and Ask Cam. So anything in the comments, let us know. Okay, so we have a very LeBron-centered conversation today. He had a tell-all, that's what I'll call it, interview with Pat McAfee. Very well done job. He talked about his come up, things that happened during his career in Miami, Bronny James, his relationship with MJ and Kobe, and of course, he talked about Stephen A. So I just kind of want to go over some of the hot takes that he had and get you guys' opinion on it. So first, we're going to start with the different eras in basketball. LeBron claims that Giannis would be scoring 250 points in a game in the 70s, which is obviously an exaggeration. But do you think, Mase, this era would thrive in that era of basketball?
In the 70s?
Yeah.
Of course they would. They got more ability. More things have been made available. In the 70s, I don't think they even had the 3-point line, so of course they would be scoring more. And the skill set has progressed. Like there's certain things that they're doing now that we weren't doing, like the side step. The side step was a back.
That would have been a travel.
Yeah, that would have been a travel. So there's things. There's a lot of doors that have been open for newer things to happen to score more points. Even not touching a shooter or hand checking or keeping your forearm in somebody's back paws while they're dribbling the ball. There's so many things that have been taken away that has made the game progressively better for guys who can handle the ball and who are crafty. So definitely, I think they're more skilled, but I think they lack in toughness. I can't even say lack in toughness because I've never seen them in that era. I would have to see them in that era to see what they're like. But the way they complain, they wouldn't be able to do that in that time. So I would say this era is better skill-wise.
I really hate when younger players say stuff like this because, to be totally honest with you, you're not giving credit when you say statements like that. And of course, Braun is nobody to even talk about his basketball IQ, what he brings to the game, everything else, absolutely 100%. Like I said, every year for me, Michael Jordan's my number one player, LeBron's my second best player. Some people put Kobe there, I got LeBron there. But every year I sit there and say, LeBron makes it harder, pause, to keep Mike at number one with the shit he keeps doing year after year after year. So not questioning LeBron's IQ, his opinion, or anything like that. I just want to say, before I say what I want to say, I want to make that clear. But I hate when players say, yo, we would have did this back then and did that back then and did this back there. When these are the players that you watch to want to be like or not be like, be better. So if they not trailblazing or trailblazers, how are you supposed to be better or want to do what they do or what they did? You don't get Kyrie Irving without Allen Iverson and one. You get what I'm saying? Kyrie said his father used to tell him, you can't watch and one. I don't want you playing like that. And Kyrie said he used to have to sneak and watch and one to dribble the way he dribbles now. You get what I'm saying? You don't get this NBA that you have right now. I'm talking about today, presently as we speak on today's date, without Steph Curry and Klay Thompson doing what they were doing 10 years ago or 12 years ago when it started. You don't get teams shooting 63-pointers per game or a combined 63-pointers a game. I'm exaggerating when I say one team shooting 60, but it's not far-fathered. You don't get that without Steph Curry and them shooting lights out. So therefore, you want to have, we got to shoot corner threes. We got to go on a fast break and stop and shoot threes because 3 is more than 2. But you don't get that without watching something previously. So when you get a statement like, yo, Giannis would have 250 points, yeah, he would. But the players before him, the Shaquille O'Neals, the Kobe Bryants, the Dirk Nowinskis, you don't get the motivation to want to be better or do something different if you don't see that. So, of course, Giannis would definitely have his way in the 70s, but you don't get a Giannis without them years of
Bill Russell.
You don't get Giannis without Bill Russell. You don't get Giannis without Magic Johnson.
Will Chamberlain.
Or Charles Barkley or Karl Malone and all these other forces of nature that were playing at the time. So, yeah, but no. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a really excellent point because even when you're talking about Stephen Curry, you don't get Stephen Curry without Reggie Miller.
Right.
You could see the same blueprint from where people got their game from. Even if they polished their paws and made it something different, you can see his tenacity to hit a three or to make shot close out or running back to the three. His dad didn't do that. Del Curry didn't do that. That's all Reggie Miller. Like when you see him running back to the three, or you see Ray Allen, all of these people were running after Reggie Miller, and Reggie Miller was watching Bird. So as every generation took a piece and then did something different with
Tweaked
it,
it,
you know.
right.
So
And they couldn't have did this back in the day with Olajuwon in the post and Ewing. Man, the ball was going into the centers.
and
back then.
even when you talk about the I think the first 7 foot I saw bring the ball down was Shaq. That was the first person I saw trying to do this at
Sean
7
Kemp.
foot. And we would be like, what is he doing? But Sean Kemp wasn't 7 feet. I'm saying that
He was
a
close.
7'1", bringing the ball up, trying to throw it behind his back or anything like that. So, you know, every person that paved the way, it just doesn't make sense for people to be going against each other. Just be happy that you're the best of your time. I think that's the way to keep all the comparison out, because people are very, very touchy about comparing them when the comparison doesn't go their way. So the way to avoid that is just be happy to be the best in your time.
Yeah, and my last thing, right, to add on to what May said, and we always talk about the rules ain't the same. A lot of niggas would be in trouble if you could not play zone. Like, as much as I love Luka in the 80s would be in trouble because you cannot play zone. So if everybody's on the right side of the court and whoever this generation, last generation, whoever generation, and you could just say, for instance, because I seen it happen the other day with LaMelo and Luka. LaMelo started drooling, pause, when he seen Luka on the move, went crazy, just mix on Luka. So if you got, when it's mandatory to play man to man, and you have everybody on the right side of the court because you can't get help.
Yeah.
And you got LaMelo being guarded by Luka, it's 2 points.
Yeah. He wouldn't. You would have to take Luka out of the game.
Right.
So he wouldn't even be the player he was today in another generation, because you have to take him out of the game. Just like people who couldn't make free throws down the clutch.
Absolutely.
You got to keep them off the floor.
Yeah, and because I remember when we were young, you know, when you're playing amateurs, you're allowed to play zone, but we used to play some tournament when they were like NBA rules, and you got to play man to man.
Yeah.
And that was just the way it is, man. So a lot of, as much as niggas say, like I said, I'm not saying, we just talked about Greek Freak, because Greek Freak, he plays defense as well. But remember this, if we keep going back to the 70s, 80s, 90s, you have to play defense too.
Yeah.
It's not just you can play offense, you have to play defense. Let's keep that in mind.
Yeah, and with people punching your hand and your hand being part of the ball,
Yeah.
I can't go with that.
I remember specifically our coach telling us at Manhattan Center, because and that's another thing. These fouls they calling flagrant and all that, these shits was regular. We sat there, you can sit there and watch a clip. For those who haven't seen it, it's a very, very famous clip. When was it AC Green? Somebody, Kurt Rambis, there you go. Kurt Rambis. And Kevin McHale and Parrish, not even joking, they did.
Grabbed him out the air.
They really did.
Slammed him.
The nod heart.
Yeah.
Clothesline, the shit from the Hart Foundation, the shit with Bret Hart.
Yeah.
They clothesline this nigga. And nobody got kicked out the game. They got a little scrap, little technicals, and everybody still played. You can't do that no more.
Yeah, the first 4 punches is within the game.
Right. Exactly. And so
this generation definitely wouldn't want that. The first 4 punches is hey, break it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's go back to just a tech on both sides, 2 free throws and let's play.
Right.
Larry Bird and Bill Lambrey had a fight, and they didn't kick him out.
Yeah, black eye and all of that.
Just sit there and talk about a million fights. Man, Robert Parrish punched a nigga dead. No, it was a lot of fights, but what I was going to say previous to me bringing that up, I was just telling the audience that's younger, Google Kurt Rambis clothesline. I bet you just clothesline pop up, but it was a game against Celtics and the Lakers. But what I was going to say is this. When we play basketball and somebody would go to the basket, our coach would say, yo, listen, if the nigga come to the basket,
all y'all foul him.
all y'all foul him. They can only call the foul on one of y'all. All y'all niggas hit that nigga. Pause. And we like, that is true. They ain't gonna foul on 5, 2, 3, 4 niggas. And that's what we did.
Okay. So he also spoke on his relationship with Michael Jordan and Kobe. He said him and Kobe never had a real relationship until they played in the Olympics together. Then they were like family once he retired and he became a Laker. As far as MJ, he said they don't really talk, but he thinks that's because he is still playing and hopes they talk more when he is done. And he said that probably won't happen until he's done and he doesn't have to look at him running up and down wearing the number 23 jersey. And every time LeBron's name is mentioned, it's mentioned with his. So, Mase, is it surprising to you that they don't talk, or did you kind of expect this given also MJ's competitive nature?
You see how you worded that question? Or is it because of MJ's competitive nature? Why it can't just be they don't talk because he's playing and both of them are busy.
It could be that too.
But it's not the way you asked it.
But also, I'll add this. He said, even if you don't know him personally, he's one of the most ruthless competitors around. So that was just a question to be asked. LeBron's words. That's all.
Yeah, I think Jordan would be a great person for LeBron to speak to, as well as LeBron could be a great conversation for Jordan. So I think they both can glean from the conversation. It's always great when two people that are competitive at something, as long as they could separate the differences, can speak to one another, because he probably could teach him something in business. One person probably could teach him something in marriage. I think just both of them have a lot of equity to share within the conversation. And it's always great when you're operating at a high level to be talking to people that are high level people, because the conversation is different.
I don't think Mike fucked with too many people, period, whether it's LeBron or anybody else.
Yeah.
Patrick Ewing and Charles Oakley maybe, and some other niggas that gamble. Mike, you don't see Mike fraternizing with a lot of people whatsoever. If you ever, like I said, watch The Last Dance as well, we can see the competitive nature competitive person Michael Jordan is. He didn't let his security leave in a game of flipping quarters until he won. He's just like that. I don't think it's much to read into that. I think this is the way Mike is. I think this is the way Mike always was, and it's nothing new. Sometimes it's one of those situations where you don't, when they like you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Mike don't even want to learn the new tricks. And the second thing is this, that Mike don't really fuck with nobody. If you watch The Last Dance, who did he fuck with? He dissed his own teammates. He was just in his teammates. It's crazy. So the point being is it's not much to look into here. And you're not one of them people Murder might be like, yo, y'all could build and y'all probably could do some things. Braun got $1 billion, Mike got a few billion. I'm cool.
Yeah, Mike, and both of them are probably like, it's too late to have close friends like that. It's like whoever you've acquired along the way, that's kind of who you have. Like, sometimes I think it's like that. And as you get older, people are just different types of people. Like, Mike is probably like a self-sufficient person. Like, everything is right there. And LeBron is more like a person. He wants to be surrounded with people that help him do the things that he's doing. So then those two don't actually go together. It's almost like putting Tupac with DJ Khaled. They wouldn't be together because they're just two different entities that don't flow together. And I think it doesn't make neither one of them wrong. It's just they're just totally different.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't even think it's a LeBron thing. If you look at MJ, and it was a great story that he told, and I'll let y'all guys Google it. But if you look at the story that he said it's Kobe's ceremony, he almost was like, "Fuck is Kobe doing calling me at 8 in the morning asking questions about basketball?"
Yeah.
But it was like he said he grew to love Kobe. You know what I'm saying? But Kobe was interested. Kobe wanted to talk to Mike. Kobe wanted to find out knowledge. Kobe wanted to see what he was doing to be great. And Mike's attitude was like, yo, I was playing baseball at that time. I can't even give you no answers on basketball. But it was very funny to see his personality no matter who it was. So I wouldn't look too much into this.
Okay.
Like with that conversation, like, because I know a lot of times people say Mike is competitive. Like, did we ever find out why? And we may have covered this, but why wasn't LeBron there for the statue revealing, or why wasn't LeBron there at the funeral? These are things that I think people need to start looking into so they can have a more well-rounded approach of what they're talking about. Not to kick no dirt on LeBron, just he may be just as competitive. He's just not as vocal about his competitiveness.
And then another conversation, because he hit on a lot of points, so there's just a lot to talk about. So I think a big thing was always LeBron's relationship with Brian Windhorst, who is a sports writer for ESPN, who we know has covered LeBron from when he was a kid up until now and broke a lot of his major stories. So I don't know what impression you guys were under, but I was under the impression that they had a pretty good relationship. So when speaking on Wendy, LeBron actually said, this guy who says he's my fucking best friend, these guys are just weird. So does this response...
What does he mean by that?
That's what he said. He's basically like, there's this guy, you know. He basically was saying like, they ain't cool like that.
Well, he made a career off people thinking that they were. So this is a definitely a real brain, whatever you call it,
Mandela
effect. We thought that was your man, right? We thought anything came from Brian is LeBron approved. We thought this was approved. So that goes to show you can't assume, and it goes to show that you could actually. And I know people ain't gonna like this, but you could make a career off just attaching your name to somebody else's. And I think that's what LeBron was saying right here with Bryant, and what he was trying to get at with Stephen A. when he was saying the thing that he was saying. Is just like, if somebody put their name with yours, no matter what they say, you're gonna have to answer it. And as you keep going, every time they go and interview, they're gonna be on your level. That's the first thing they taught me in media training. If you put your name with somebody else's, you can grow to their level just by keeping your name in the same conversation. So I say that most athletes and entertainers need to have some media training.
Mm-hmm. This is a shocker. That was bigger than the Michael Jordan shit, personally. You ask me, pause. Yo, bro.
It's 20 years later, right? 20-something.
No, because see, I got a couple perspectives on this, right? First and foremost, it goes like this, because he covered LeBron. This two perspectives. I'll give the first perspective. You covered LeBron in high school. So he was there covering LeBron the whole high school because he worked for the paper. Whatever the fuck he had going on, he's the biggest, supposedly, what's going on in the Akron area covering LeBron.
Yeah.
So LeBron get ready to go to the NBA, and everybody had all these expectations of LeBron, and ESPN gives him a job just because he's covering Braun. And Braun probably knew this too. And Braun is like, okay, cool, I'll shoot you some info, cool. Over the years. But over the years, possibly, and this is just, both these are both scenarios, two scenarios. Over the years, I'll shoot you some info, a little intel here, a little intel there, whatever. I'm thinking like Murder said, though. I'm thinking he's giving him all the info. And maybe that may have been true until it became a priority to who your loyalty is. Is your loyalty to LeBron James or your loyalty to ESPN? So we know you cover LeBron. We got you covering him first 12, 13, 14, 15. He's 22 years in. Mm-hmm. But then it starts saying, okay, the LeBron game ain't going to last but however much so longer. Yeah. Maybe they peeped that 8 years ago. So Wendy might have been more loyal to ESPN. Possibly. I don't know. That's what, to me,
that's when it could have gotten weird.
That's how I'm taking it. Because the second scenario is even crazy. If you're just following a nigga around and then the nigga never been speaking to you like that for 22 years, that's the worst. I hope the first scenario is realistic on what I told you. But because for a nigga to follow a nigga around 22 years, murder right. You just gonna follow me and make a living off me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This got to be crazy. That's some wild shit. Because if I'm LeBron, I would have made that clear a while ago.
Yeah.
Yo,
And
bro, I don't know this nigga.
Yeah, and this lets you know how much people don't be knowing what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Because if he got away with this for 20 years, regardless of what we're assuming here, LeBron is saying this himself. So either LeBron is the biggest liar or Brian is the biggest weirdo. It's one or the other. So y'all let us know, because somebody is on the record right here.
Yeah.
Which one do y'all think, for the people watching? Do you think LeBron is the biggest liar, or you think Brian is the biggest weirdo? Let us know.
And see, from what Stat is reading, because I watched probably 20 minutes of LeBron's interview, and I had some other things to do. I got it recorded. I'll watch the rest when I get home after the show. But the thing about it is, LeBron still leaves you cliffhanging.
Yes.
He says, fucking guy, people think he's my fucking best friend. Okay. Is he? Is he not? Like, could you be a little more specific so we could get some intel? If that's all he said, I know you're picking a quote, but I would like to hear more detail, because if that was me doing the interview, you know you don't want to push Braun because he's already there, but I'm like, could you elaborate a little more? And maybe he did. I'm just going off the quote. I didn't see that part of the interview. But if you just say that people think he's my fucking best friend, this fucking guy.
And Stat, you saw the interview?
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. My eyes actually hurt because it was like 4.5 hours worth of LeBron watching his portion and Stephen A's portion. So I do have more of the quotes as well, but that is the standard line. He's basically saying that he's weird, so I can elaborate more on things that he said.
Because when you ask me the question, if you don't give me all the details, then you're putting me out there to
You
look
basically...
crazy.
I would not put you in a position, like, you basically got most of the details, because he said, basically these guys are weird. He said, basically, when Wendy was talking about the reasoning for him wearing the number 23 jersey because of Michael Jordan, he said, okay, that's a fact. But then he said, when Wendy said he signed with Nike because of MJ, LeBron said, it's like, no, the fuck I didn't. I signed with Nike because I got a hell of a signing bonus and they gave me a 7-year, $90 million contract. And I moved my mom out of the hood the day after I signed the contract. Ultimately, my whole thing is like, what do I want to wear off the court? I want to wear fucking Nikes. And he kind of left it at that. So yes, there is, to Cam's point, there is still a lot of missing content.
So Brian lied right there. I mean, it's not that hard to figure out. I really hate journalism because people can't tell the truth. It's so annoying. It's like people got the mic to tell the truth, but they tell what they want to tell. I hate it.
I don't think it's necessarily that he's not telling the truth. We also don't know who his sources are, because none of this would have been known if LeBron didn't say anything. For all we know, LeBron's closest man could be telling Wendy one thing and Wendy's going and reporting it, which is his job as a journalist. Whole time that's not being cross-confirmed with LeBron. So it's like, in this situation, I don't even know what's true until Brian Windhorst comes out and says his perspective, because right now, even just off of this narrative, we're going based off of what LeBron said. So it's really putting in a weird situation to begin with.
So is this a point where two things are true? That he signed with Nike to move his mother out the hood and everything he stated as LeBron, and it's true that he wanted to be like Mike, all in the same thing. Because if not, somebody is lying. That's what I said.
I think Brian Windhorst is lying. After you read that quote, my opinion, because the thing about it is this: LeBron is very conservative. For somebody in his quote unquote circle to tell Brian Windhorst that, they'd be kicked out the whip if that wasn't true. I know some people close to LeBron, and I know shit I can say, and I know shit I'm not allowed to say. Because what you got to do when you got friends and your friends before they were doing what they were doing, as far as being in the sports world, and they were cool with you before me and Murder started doing this, you have to get on the phone, and it's not even personal. As a friend, you're off the record, nigga, fuck is up. You gotta say that as a friend, because everybody's growing and doing different things, and you don't want to get misconstrued with people's just having a conversation and people telling you shit. And I'm not talking about LeBron, I'm talking about other athletes as well. You have to be, if you got relationships, you have to say, what can I say and what can't I say? Like, I can't even talk about somebody who recently told me, leave my name, Cameron. You said my name a few times on the show. I just want to be quiet and get this money. And that's
You gotta respect that.
absolutely 100%. So when Stat says, what if somebody LeBron? We know LeBron James 4-man camp, 3-4-man camp. He is not telling nobody nothing. Look, we didn't get this information. LeBron been signed with Nike 22 years. This shit coming out 22 years later. That's how much LeBron talks about certain shit. So I don't take what he's saying as that's his side story. I'm taking it as that's the only side of the story. And if Brian Windhorst come back with some more shit, LeBron might air you out. I would just sweep it under the rug and say, maybe I got it wrong.
Yeah, to me, this whole concept is crazy because I think it does make, a lot of people in these situations lose credibility. But also on the athlete side, it's like, they've been getting talked about their entire lives. So I know to be able to go up on that stand and kind of say how he feels, even though it was an hour segment, probably felt nice just to clear the air, just one and done, even though there's still a lot that we need to still hear from LeBron, to just say those things, because it kind of puts media in a frenzy because they're sitting here like, oh, shoot, like, I've been saying this, I've been saying that, I've been reporting on this, and then LeBron comes out and says that's not true. Like, can you imagine if athletes had the time to really come back and dispute what people have been saying about them? It'd be crazy.
They do. They call it podcasting.
Now,
yeah,
that also wasn't really a thing. It's kind of like things were said and then you would just go about your day. Now, and we hear a lot more voices, but specifically to LeBron's point, because even his podcast isn't about what people are saying about him. It's about dissecting the game and then the intricate parts about it. So it's like, I'm happy he did this. Hopefully he does more of these conversations because I think there's a lot of unanswered questions that we want answers to. But yeah, it was a great interview by Pat McAfee.
Yeah, but to add on to that, and to be fair to LeBron, when LeBron signed with Nike, it wasn't no X. It wasn't no Twitter. It wasn't no Instagram. It wasn't no podcast. So you got to wait till you get a chance to be with media at the same time trying to live up to all the expectations of a kid coming out of high school that's supposed to be the next nigga. And he passed all expectations, but we got to realize it wasn't no motherfucking Twitter in 2002, 3 when he gets to the NBA. But I'm talking about LeBron been a star, legitimate star since 99, 2000 in high school. So what's his outlet? Like now, you can just go straight to X. Yo, Skip Bayless says KD ain't as good as he get to. KD, right, yeah, we both washed, nigga. Immediate reaction.
That was great.
Cool, you know what I'm saying? You didn't have these tools when LeBron first came into the NBA or in high school.
Facts. Okay, LeBron says Stephen A's on a Taylor Swift tour run, and y'all know Stephen A had a response. We'll discuss after the break.
She called this thing about toxic. 4 years and counting. Got you feeling like an option. Maybe I'm my own problem, babe. She tired of hearing I don't know. My stubborn in me won't fall. Dealing with this thing called trust. But she really thinking about she wanna be free.
And basically said Stephen A. Smith is on a Taylor Swift tour run and that he missed the point of the confrontation. LeBron said Stephen A. made things personal and he had to protect not only his household, but also the players. So, of course, Stephen A. went on like an hour response video, very frustrated. He spoke on it saying, I would have got my ass kicked because if that man would have put his hands on me, I would have immediately swung on him. That's kind of the clip going viral right now because it's like, okay, can Stephen A. fight LeBron? That's up to you guys' imagination to see. And then he said, in this particular instance, as it pertains to his son, he is a liar and he went on national television and he lied again. So the whole clip, he's calling LeBron a liar. He's basically saying, instead he wanted to go on Pat McAfee's show. He reached out to go on LeBron's show, didn't hear a response, a whole bunch of things. Mase, what is your take on Stephen A's point of view?
Ah, man. Cam, you go first for us.
So I didn't see this. I didn't see Stephen A's response yet, but I wasn't going to talk about that. It was supposed to be a clip and stat. Maybe you can bring me up to speed. Would Stephen A. say he might have been wrong for what he did a day or two ago? I don't know if it's clickbait or anything like that.
It was pertaining to Bronny James, and then just his gameplay. He was saying he might have been wrong on Bronny because he had been doing good in the G League, and then that one game that he had in person, he did pretty well.
Oh, I thought he might have been wrong on the way he
handled it.
Yeah, so I that's why I want to ask that first and foremost. Because it's a lot of players. Look, I even said it myself, and I'm cool with both these guys. I said it myself. Once a nigga questioned him as a father, it was going to be a problem. I knew that. I didn't know this factual. Nobody told me this, but I'm saying, bro, this is a problem. You telling a nigga how to parent, right, wrong, and indifferent, or what you think about it, you can't question LeBron James' parenting skills. You know, we discuss what people would do for their kids, and if it's up to the child to perform, whether it's in the office, whether it's in a gas station, whether it's in the Eiffel Tower, wherever. If you get your child a job somewhere, they still have to live up to the expectations of the job you got them. So when he started questioning him as a parent, I said this on the show, I was like, I knew this was going to go bad. Not to the point where I thought they would have a face-to-face conversation bad. And LeBron's on the Pat McAfee show, and then Stephen A's response, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But you got to think about this, too. You do a great job parenting. And just putting yourself in LeBron James' shoes for a second. You do a great job parenting. You bring your kids up the best you could be. They're in the public eye because you're in the public eye, et cetera, et cetera. And then you watching your child not breathe one day because he has cardiac arrest in the middle of a game. Now you're sitting there seeing your child not breathe. Work his way back to say, okay, cool, he didn't have a good year in college. We gonna try to see you get in the NBA. Gets in the NBA, he's not doing that well. But then you say, as a father, I'm begging you to stop this. I do from there, it wasn't about basketball. And I heard Dwayne Wade and Carmelo Anthony actually speak on this, and Dwayne Wade said, I'm stepping to Stephen A. He said, I text Stephen A and told him that, like, bro, if you said that about my son or child, when I see you, I'm going to step to you too. Carmelo said, LeBron kind of did this for all of us. This is what we've been wanting to do for however long, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's that part of it. But now, bringing things back up to speed, you could tell by LeBron, I seen that part of the interview. LeBron's exact words were said, he's going to be so happy I'm talking about him. He's on a Taylor Swift tour. When he sees this, he's going to be home in his tighty whities, saying, ooh, look at him talking about me. That's his like verbiage, verbatim. His tighty whities. Look at LeBron talking about me. And there was a lot in that interview, and I'm not going to sit there and believe that it was technical difficulties, but a lot of shit was muted out when you watch that Pat McAfee and LeBron interview. It's getting muted like every 3-4 minutes or for about 20, 30 seconds. So to me, a lot of things were left out that they didn't want to be put out. I thought it was just my TV, but then I'm watching some clips on Instagram. It's muted out on other people's televisions as well. But as far as what Stephen A. said, Stephen A's my bro. You can't, like, you know, that's the best thing Stephen A. said. I might have got my ass kicked, but I would have fought back or whatever. But LeBron's 6'8", 265 pounds, 270 pounds, in wild good shape, super duper good shape. I'm just happy that it didn't come to that. You know what I'm saying? I'm happy that we didn't have another Will Smith, Chris Rock situation. You know what I'm saying? Because to be honest with you, no disrespect to Stephen A. Smith, and I'm not saying he can't fight or anything else like that, but you really don't have no wins in that situation right there. No weapons, no nothing. 6'8", freight train. I respect his response as a man and as what he felt like, but it just, I'm happy nothing physical happened. But I guess, you know, what can I say, Murder? I don't know what the fuck to say. Just happy that didn't get to that, because
I'm glad I heard your point, because I definitely can can understand both sides of what was being stated. I think when it comes to this particular occupation called journalism and being an analyst, I think people have to start being true to the craft of it, and that's when you study, you get the information, and you just convey the information. All of the personal things you leave out of it. When it becomes personal, it's no longer journalism, it's no longer being an analyst. You're now being an antagonist, and that's not an analyst. So I think when I'm looking at Stephen A., I think he's wrong to an aspect. And when I look at LeBron, I think he's wrong to an aspect because realistically, I was always taught to never walk before anybody and act like you want to fight. You know what I'm saying? If you don't necessarily want to fight, if you want to fight, then when you walk up, you throw a punch. But the walk up hostile only can put you in a bad situation. I think for a person of LeBron's character and LeBron's status, this was a bad idea because if it goes left, it only goes wrong for him. If it turns into a scuffle, what do you now get sued? The Lakers get sued. This will be all in Stephen A's benefit if it even goes a little left, So really to go up to somebody and get mad at them about how your son is playing or what they said about you, realistically, I think we throw away that right when we become public figures. A lot of times I don't like what people say of me, but as a public figure, that comes with it. If you don't want your son to be criticized, then you don't go through all of this to put him in the league. Because I heard Killer say something about he just watched his son not breathing. So if you watch him not breathing, why put him in the sport? That's another view and vantage point that you have to look at. You don't have to put him in this. It's not like he needs money. The family is well off. Give him a job as an agent. But if you put him in basketball, then you got to hold him to the standards of what's necessary to play the sport that we love called basketball. And I think that's the best take I could possibly give.
Did you see the interview, that portion of the interview?
Mm-mm.
So, just so you have some more knowledge.
Yeah.
LeBron said he don't give a fuck about niggas criticizing his son. He basically was like, once he's in the game, nigga, you gotta criticize.
Right.
Yeah.
He said that. That's what I'm saying. There's bits and pieces. I want you to make sure you know
so
everything.
when he said it became personal, right?
Right.
So what part of it is personal?
Right.
What part of the...
I gotta watch the part. I just seen the clip.
No, I'm asking Stack.
Okay.
She saw
Yeah,
it. What
well,
part is personal?
That's kind of what Stephen A is saying. Stephen A is saying he wasn't making it personal. He was just reporting on the game as he would for anybody else.
No, that's what I'm saying. So what have anybody said about Bronny that was personal? All people's talking about is the low field goal percentage and...
Like Cam said, when he questioned
like you
his
said, he
fatherhood,
told him as a father.
when he questioned his fatherhood, that's where it went.
What did he question?
He said he need to stop. He said it was something pertaining to Braun. He said you need to stop.
He said basically Bronny had a bad game. This is a part of this.
I get what you're saying. He should have never put him there as a dad. That's what he's saying?
No. That's why I want you to be clear on everything. He basically said, as a father, stop this and this. I don't even mean to laugh, but Stephen A said, stop this nonsense. Because Bronny didn't play good one night. So the next night, he said, he don't need to be there. I'm asking you as a father, stop doing this, man. As a father, stop this nonsense, man.
What is he actually saying? Take him out of the NBA?
That's what Stephen A's saying, but he was saying, not from
as a father, because you made this happen.
Yes, so I'm not disagreeing with you. I just want you to make sure.
No, that's why I said they're both actually wrong, because that's the part that becomes clout. Like, he's saying these things with an animated voice because he know it's gonna trigger LeBron. LeBron is right now being triggered by that actual statement, and that's exactly what happened. You got him in the middle of the game to come walk over to you and talk to you. So that means that statement was triggering, you know. So if you're an analyst and you're a person that does it at such a high level that he does, that's just not the thing you do for the click.
Yeah, and to that point,
because you don't have to. You don't have to. Like, I hear people do things, and you're already who you are. You don't have to do that. And that's something you have to choose to do. Just like I got notes right here. I know what I could say that could get the world going crazy. You know what you could say, Killer, to make the world go crazy. So when Stephen A. gets in front of a camera and says that, he's well aware of what he's doing. I can't hold him innocent in that as well. So that's why I said they're both wrong.
Yeah, and then also to Stephen A's point, he's saying they talk about LeBron a lot because of the metrics. That's what's popular, which of course, because he's one of the most talked about, if not the most talked about player. But I do think it does become murky waters because I just feel like when you say certain things, of course, when you say something, everybody has a right to respond. But even in Stephen A's response by saying, you know, if he hit me, I would have swung, like, for a lot of people, that's fighting words. Like, you ain't have to say you would have swung on me if that didn't happen. So you hypothetically saying, like, if he would have swung, I would have hit him.
And LeBron didn't say he was going to swing on him.
Exactly.
That's the part that I'm talking about is for the clicks. And that's the thing that Carmelo is probably speaking of and Wade we're speaking of, that when people are doing things and they're playing with your life and your legacy just to make people laugh or just to get clicks. And people may feel like that's what we do, but that's certainly not what we do. So that's why in certain things, I find myself, pulling back from things. And that's when Killer came in and he was like, oh, we changing around here? We watering it down? Because we want to make sure, I want to make sure that I'm being honest to what I really believe and not I'm saying something just to make you get hype about it. It got to be what I really believe.
But I also feel like y'all are in a completely different situation because I don't feel like when you guys say things, one, there's ill will, there's no bad intent, and I think you guys have a lot more of a luxury to say how you feel, which again makes the show so authentic because somebody like, yes, we know that, you know, Stephen A. is, you know, the head of sports media, but when you see media members, I still think that there's a different distinction from that. And I just don't think that people in those spaces can do the same thing that y'all are doing. And I feel like that's the line that has gotten crossed because, again, point blank period, y'all are the culture. So when y'all talk to people, it comes across very different as opposed to somebody who's sitting, you know, up, you know, on ESPN or something, saying something about these players. It's like, whoa, we don't even roll like that. Like, I don't even call you my homie. I don't even listen to your stuff. So for you to come at me that way, it feels different. So I just feel like there's still a line being crossed because even the back and forth, and it's like, you know, Stephen A. is great at what he does. I don't even think he needed the response that he had. And again, I knew he was going to respond because he's frustrated. He's allowed to respond. The way he went about it, it's like now you're dragging it. Like LeBron said what he said on Pat McAfee's show, which he rarely does. Didn't even make you the full topic of conversation, kept it going. He talked about a piece that was going to have to be addressed regardless. And in return, you made it a whole thing that it didn't have to be. So I just feel like it's blown out of proportion, blown out of context. And then it looks weird because regardless, ESPN is going to have to still continue to talk about LeBron and Bronny. So I just think that puts them in a weird state.
So that's exactly my point. So when you see it going in the wrong direction and you say he's going, what was the exact words you used? That
he was a lot.
He's keep going with something. What was the term that you used though? You don't remember?
I don't.
Well, that's what I was speaking to. That speaks to the intent of your heart and what you actually did it for. What was the intent of you bringing up LeBron? That is beginning to be seen, and that's the part that's not cool.
Yeah. Yeah, all around, great interview. A lot of things were said. Hopefully they
listen, LeBron, and I know we don't have time, but LeBron addressed a lot of shit. There was a lot of shocking shit, and Pat McAfee did an outstanding job. But LeBron, he you know, the nigga, one thing that we even talk about on the show, and I've seen a bunch of people talk about, and Pat McAfee asked him, he said, yo, so we hear you spend like around $1 million on your body to keep in shape. He said, who the fuck came up with that? He said, where did this number come from? He said, I take care of my body, but who made that up? And niggas been pumping that pause for like 2, 3, 4, 5 years. Bro, spending $2 million on his body.
Did Brian bring that up too?
Brian
Windhorst.
Did that come from Brian?
Oh, maybe.
I don't even remember.
Maybe. Yeah. He might be doing that, but Brian said at first he might be doing a bunch of shit to discredit. He might be trying to get Brian fired on the low. Brian reported that first. Yeah, he
See,
might
this is
have.
what I mean. There's a lot of hidden agendas going on. We just coming to hear about sports, and these people got all these personal issues going on that's forcing people not to get the truth. I just want people to know the truth.
But imagine, right? Like, and this goes to LeBron's maturity, patience, and a bunch of other words that I probably can't think of off the top of my head right now, to just ignore 90% of the shit that he hears that's not true. We've been talking, not just us, niggas been talking about for 4 or 5, yo, the nigga reason why he doing, he's spending $2 million on his body every year. The nigga said, what the fuck do niggas, where did niggas come up with that from?
Yeah.
And niggas would still be running with that. The fact that he ignores 70, 80% of the shit that he knows is not true is crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah. Side note, and this is again why it brings more questions. So somebody who said that he spends that much on his body was Maverick Carter, which is confusing because we know that he co-founded one of the companies with LeBron James. So hearing that that's coming from him, but then him saying that that's not true.
That's crazy.
Like,
this is a mess.
I don't know.
This is what I'm trying to say. Somebody's lying. Somebody's lying.
Yeah.
And is that one of the, he's one of the three.
Yes. He mentioned Maverick.
Yeah.
He said, man, he gave Maverick a lot of props on that interview, talking about his film companies, et cetera. So, yeah, it's a mess out here, man.
Yeah.
It's a mess. Get your kids out the
we got to
street.
clear this up, LeBron, because Maverick is not just anybody.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And again, this is why we need more answers. So hopefully he does another.
And to be honest with you, after seeing what I seen today, he was patient. Pat asked him if he wanted to go. Like I said, I didn't see all of us. I was skimming through to get as much info as I could. Braun was chilling. Another one of these ain't happening for a long ass time. This ain't happening.
Yeah, it would have probably been better if LeBron would have had the conversation with Stephen A. That's what he should have had it with.
That ain't happening.
Yeah, it's not. Because even at this point, it should have happened. At this point, it's not, because there's just too much disrespect towards each other. Like, even though Stephen A. said he reached out to LeBron for the conversation, it's like, I wouldn't really want to talk to him either.
People are too delicate.
That's that.
Yeah, problems should be faced head on. That's the best way. I mean, especially as men, that's the best way to handle it. I mean, it don't get better by you going away from it, because even though you're speaking to Pat McAfee, you're still speaking to ESPN. Why not speak to the big dog up at ESPN?
I feel like that's easy to say on the outside, but when you're in the fire, because I know how I get when something pisses me off or I don't agree, I'm really not finna talk to you. I need a second, because if I say what I'm gonna say, it ain't gonna turn out right.
No, I fully understand that. I'm saying that if you want the problem handled, you can't talk to the assistant about it. You got to talk to the person that the problem is with.
To me, LeBron don't consider none of this a problem. Stephen A. keeps going on and on and on. LeBron probably like, look, I'm in Indianapolis. This is where Pat film at. Let me go say a few things that I've been wanting to say and go back in my in my room or wherever you want to quote unquote
in your shell.
In your shell. That's what I'm looking for, Murder. And put my shit on Instagram and X and everything else when I feel like doing it.
Yeah. Okay. Long Lebronversation, that's what they call it. But good takes, good points. That's all the time that we have for today. Thank y'all for watching. And as always, it is what it is.
What you want, nigga? Everything, nigga, super size. Two Big Macs. Like when they doing them 2 for $5.